I'm sure we are progressing with AI, but I do think this is an industry that needs to be held accountable more. Scale AI and the Center for AI Safety gave leading AI agents tasks that real freelancers would do. Even the best AI agents were only able to fully automate about 2.5% of the projects at a quality level acceptable for paying a client. Most attempts failed because of incomplete work, logical flaws, or subpar professional standards. When we shift our focus from artificial metrics to actual tasks, performance is collapsing. AI might not actually be improving, we might just be getting better at convincing ourselves that it is. And 2 new studies suggest that we may be closer to this truth than most are willing to admit. Researchers at the Oxford Internet Institute did something that they should have done a super long time ago. They investigated whether AI benchmarks are scientifically valid. They examined 445 benchmarks, the very tests behind breakthrough performance claims that we constantly hear, and most of them turned out to be built on kind of shaky foundations. So only 16% used statically sound comparisons. So not great. And nearly half lacked clear definitions of what they were measuring. Many benchmarks reused datasets or featured overly simplistic tasks that barely resembled real-world conditions. So in other words, they were testing AI on clean artificial problems and then using those results to predict how it would perform in the messy complexity of real life. Their paper is called Measuring What Matters: Construct Validity in the LLM Benchmarks, and it proposes 8 reforms to address this. And this includes clear definitions, proper statistical evaluations, and shared checklists to verify the legitimacy of tests. In short, the basics of good science. The most impactful point about all of this for me is the fact that if the benchmarks are this flawed, then much of the progress that we've actually been celebrating might not be real at all. Because the people that are testing AI are making up the test to test AI, it's just like a fake thing. It's like a fake test. It's like if I created a test about how great it is to be Rachel Braun, and then I take the test as Rachel Braun, it comes out as an A. Like, yeah, they're creating a test saying, this is a reasonable answer, and then giving it to the AI. And because it comes out as like the answer that they want, they're like, okay, that's reasonable. That is very nuanced. Like, what is reasonable is nuanced. What is helpful, that's super nuanced. And so all these tests that are showing us AI is getting smarter and smarter and smarter, well, maybe those tests just aren't great themselves. Now, I'm sure we are progressing with AI. I'm not super cynical on that, but I do think this is an industry that needs to be taken maybe accountable more, the AI testing industry, and just the benchmarks and the standards in which we put technology up against. A few days after I checked out that, I actually read something from Scale AI and the Center for AI Safety that tried to do something completely different by not using benchmarks at all and actually using AI in the real world to conduct a test. Using the remote labor index, they gave leading AI agents a bunch of different tasks that real freelancers would do. So think design, coding, copywriting, and data analysis. The result was not shocking. If you're somebody that has done any of those things before, I have definitely had to do a lot of things in the design and copywriting space. Even the best AI agents were only able to fully automate about 2.5% of the projects at a quality level acceptable for paying a client. Most attempts failed because of incomplete work, logical flaws, or subpar professional standards. The rare wins only happened on super simple tasks like logo design or generating sound effects. But it just wasn't able to do complex jobs requiring multiple steps or if tools had to be integrated. Now, for comparison, the median human freelancer spent about 11.5 hours per task, and AI is nowhere near that level of performance. So maybe AI could spit out something a little bit quicker than a human, but, I personally rather pay somebody 11.5 hours for something that I want done right than give something to an AI for free or under my ChatGPT subscription and get something that's just wrong and not what I wanted. So congrats to the freelancers out there. Your jobs are safe. These studies highlight the same issue from 2 different perspectives. Oxford shows us that the actual tools that we're using to measure AI performance are deeply flawed. And Scale AI is showing us that when we shift our focus from artificial metrics to actual tasks, performance is collapsing. So we've built this narrative of AI progress around metrics that might not reflect anything meaningful. And when we remove the controlled conditions and ask AI to operate in the wild, it often fails. This is what it looks like when construct validity is missing. We get impressive sounding numbers that don't actually reflect real capabilities. I think this actually could be a huge barrier, maybe the single biggest barrier for meaningful progress with AI, because we're optimizing for the wrong scoreboard. So we're optimizing to pass these tests that aren't really showing any progress. It's like your friend that kind of memorized all the answers to the test without actually soaking up all the knowledge that they need to pass the test with their own noggin. And I found these two studies really interesting because I've been seeing AI pop up a lot in rigorous fields, not saying that freelancing isn't rigorous, but maybe these fields are ones that relied a little bit more on highly educated subject matter experts. And I'm kind of thinking, what if AI can't do freelance work well? I'm a bit concerned for it in these other places. Anthropic released Claude for Life Sciences, a model built for biotech R&D tasks like literature reviews, lab protocols, and regulatory documentation. Adtalem Global Education and Google Cloud are launching AI credentials for healthcare students covering clinical applications, ethics, and patient safety. Students will get hands-on experience with Google's Gemini and Vertex tools as a part of the training. I know I'm slamming AI a lot, but I do actually think it's important to integrate new technology into workflows. And I do understand that means integrating technology sometimes before it's perfect. And the reason I think why that's okay is it's ensuring that industries don't fall behind, and it allows humans who are doing maybe something like grunt work or something that we consider to be grunt work to move into positions that only they can perform. So really optimizing, in my opinion, the human experience. If you don't integrate AI or new tools into the workplace, your workplace could end up looking a little bit like Dunder Mifflin. It could be slow. It could be held back. I don't know. We've all seen The Office before. Not super happy with the standards of AI today, and kind of hesitant to be seeing it in such serious fields, especially if it can't do tasks that I'm doing every day. I don't know if I want my doctor to be using it every day, but I understand that it has to happen sooner rather than later.